Starting in Clermont-Ferrand in the Auvergne region, the Dakar followed a traditional but very demanding route, passing Spain, Morocco, Mauritania, through Mali, Burkina Faso and to Senegal. Well, before the desert, the riders and drivers had to face the snow in Europe. Yep, snow. Conditions you don't expect on a Dakar. Despite the weather, 35,000 spectators cheered the competitors on and were entertained by some great dirt track racing. On stage 2, Gino de Villiers tested the roll cage of his Nissan early on. Luckily, he made it to the finish. His teammate Yves Loupé was out already with an electrical problem. This was a sign, perhaps, for Nissan that we're going to face a very tough Dakar. French Enduro champion David Frétigné is the man opening the stages. His two-wheel drive Yamaha 450 meant that he won 2 of the 3 European stages. Good through the soft stuff. On the Spanish beaches, everyone got their first taste of sand, albeit very different from the Sahara. In Morocco, the rally proper began with a bang. Only 5 kilometres into Africa, 3-time winner Richard Sykes crashed at over 100 kilometres per hour. The result was a forearm injury needing 8 stitches. He decided to ride on. Giovanni Sala was going well until he hit a rock. That sent him immediately to the medical helicopter and out of the rally. Well, due to the heaviest rainfalls of the last 30 years in Morocco, the drivers had to battle a huge amount of water, and during the opening days in Africa, nobody was really prepared for it. Even the professionals committed some big mistakes. Jutta Kleinschmidt hit the water hard, and the water came straight over the front of her VW Race Touareg and into the air intake. She lost 5 hours and 20 minutes, and the dream of another Dakar win was already over for her. Well, just seconds later, Ari Vatanen in his Nissan did exactly the same thing. Who'd have believed it? Car engine full of water, and the time loss of 2.5 hours for him. So, ironically, water was the first big challenge on the Dakar 2004, but the next obstacle was soon on the horizon. The bike race was all about KTM riders. The question was, who would be the winner this year? Still amongst the favourites, even after his fall, 3-time winner Richard Sykes. There was also Fabrizio Mioni, and of course the Spaniard, Manny Roma. Never forgetting Cyril Desprez, the reigning Rally Raid world champion this year. Well, former water carrier Esteban Puyol was given the chance to go for it, go for victory himself for the first time. He was the leading man overall, but he fell dramatically and mechanical problems forced him way down the order. Well, the longer the rally continued, the more difficult it got. Navigation was one of the keys, but many had difficulties finding their way. We got on board with some of the micro cams inside the helmet of the competitors. Where to go? And while searching their way, there were even bigger problems for some. We'll have more after this break. The driving force in the cars in 2004 was once again Mitsubishi. Even if they had problems finding some of their way sometimes, they quickly took the overall lead. 2-time car winner Matsuoka and 6-time bike winner Peder Hansel running 1 and 2. Would it be a hat-trick for Matsuoka or a first-time win on 4 wheels for Peder Hansel? The cars had balance, they had poise, they looked unbeatable. On the opening stage in Africa, Peder Hansel took the lead for Mitsubishi. The Japanese manufacturer went on to win 6 more stages with the new Pajero Evo. Well, Matsuoka even had time for a sweetie break. Stefan Pederhansel lost the previous year's Dakar on the final stages and was now determined to take victory. Once more, neither BMW nor Volkswagen were able to match the pace of the Mitsubishis. They seemed to be as dominant in Rally Raid as Ferrari were in Formula One during this time. Matsuoka suddenly found it difficult to stay with Pederhansel after losing 1 hour due to mechanical problems, but it still looked like a safe 1-2 for the two top Mitsubishis in 04. Guido Kleinschmidt had lost all chance of a good overall position early on in the water, but still had the pace for a good stage place on occasion. And in the end, it was one stage win for her and the Volkswagen Touareg on the penultimate day. Just the start of a massive development program for Volkswagen. And of course, it goes on. For BMW, it was Grégoire de Mévius and Luc Alphonse who starred, and the former Alpine skier Alphonse showed that he'd learnt a few things over the previous couple of rally raids. Similar to his style on the slopes, he took the dunes with some style. Alphonse had become a fully fledged rally raid driver, getting the better even of Colin McRae in his Nissan. Alphonse would finish 4th overall with 2 stage wins. Jean-Louis Schlesser took 3rd in the final standings and showed once more what kind of rally raid driver he is. A very good one. His famous self-built buggy was again one of the few cars that could rival the mighty Mitsubishis, even if he claimed just 1 stage win, and that was in Europe. Well, the Dakar is renowned for its beautiful landscapes, and the dunes look spectacular, but they are formidable as an obstacle, and by night they just turn into sand monsters. Yes, for 736 kilometres between Tajika and Neymar, nobody had it easy. It was one of the rally's biggest challenges this year. Well, after the leaders had set the trails into the soft sand, the privateers tried to follow and got trapped. And sometimes we were able to find even real Dakar legends in deep trouble. This is René Metsch searching for his co-driver. One-time winner, telling him just to walk towards the light, for goodness sake. Well, these 736 kilometres were a hard test even for the pros, and saw many absolutely exhausted. Even Luc Alphonse, who's pretty fit, well, he is an athlete, he was out of it. Wearing a helmet for 11 hours. How on earth do the bike riders stand it, he said. You've got to be mad to be a biker, he said. It went on and on. The battle had really heated up between Richard Sykes, 3 times the winner, and Danny Roma, who had so far never taken the title. Lay your bike down, let the sand fall through, stand it back up. Standard Dakar technique. And then, if you're lucky, you might just get going again without digging yourself in. Clearly these two would battle it out for the victory in the Dakar, as Esteve had lost too much time already. Desprez lost earlier, losing crucial minutes in, or on, the two leaders I should say, and Mioni had been plagued by mechanical problems. It left only Sykes and Roma in the battle for the lead. It was clear that from now on, Esteban Puyol would support his teammate Roma. Frenchman Brucey was supporting Sainz, but Brucey would have to retire from third position when he fell and broke his collarbone. That was not playing out well for Richard Sainz and his plans. How would it pan out? We'll be back after the break to find out. Stay with us. Dakar 2004 was also the comeback for Bruno Sabi, the former winner, on board one of the VW Touareg diesels. He needed all his Dakar experience. He would finish 6th overall, 2nd in the diesel class behind Alphonse BMW. Well, Mitsubishi was not only pulling away from Volkswagen but also from the Nissans. Yeah, the Nissan team seen as a serious contender to the Mitsubishis, but even with drivers like Arie Vatanen, Colin McRae or South African Julien de Villiers, it was just not meant to be. Looking at the numbers, it looked like a decent Dakar for Nissan. Vatanen clocked his 50th stage win, whilst McRae got two stage victories as a rookie. They even had a 1-2-3 finish at Ayoun Al Atrous on stage 13. Best in the overall standings was de Villiers, 7th by the end. Nissan will be remembered in Dakar 2004 for their never-ending mechanical problems, however. It was starting to annoy Colin McRae.
A problem in the transmission, something's broken.
That ended up towing McRae all the way to Tajika. Oh, distance were quick, but Vatanen had to quit after hitting a tree. The radiator was broken. As for de Villiers and McRae, they spent more time underneath their cars than behind the wheel.
The vibration you feel when it starts.
Again, it's a new problem.
McRae was in trouble. De Villiers out of luck.
Well, it seems we have an electrical problem and the car keeps on cutting out when we drive.
The 2004 Nissan Cruise needed a lot of technical skill and mental strength. Vatanen and McRae both spent 2 nights out in the desert. Even the humour began to dry up just a little bit.
Too much time.
Too much time?
Yeah.
Tina Turner still smiling. A little pause then for the competitors in the middle of the rally due to threats against the security of the race. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Officials decided to cancel Nema to Mopti and Mopti to Bobo Dioulasso. The bikes and quads were flown over while the cars and trucks drove over in convoy. So a big liaison, if you like. But even on these liaison days, Vatanen and McRae only just made it to the destination before the 6 p.m. deadline. That's how bad things had got. In the truck class, it came down to a merciless race between 3-time winner Vladimir Chagin and 23-year-old Gerardus de Roy, following in the footsteps of the Daddy Yan. Oh yeah, big footsteps they are too. Good. Slower cars were just pushed aside. If it's truck versus car, the truck usually wins. Camas had 3 strong entries with Chagin, Kabirov and Mardiev, but few could keep up with Chagin. With these big, wild vehicles, it was not only the driving that's challenging. Changing a tyre needs organisation, skill and enormous amounts of practice. The Camas boys versus the de Roy DAF truck. We stuck a clock on them. Both with the same task at hand, and a big task too. everything times 10, it seems, when it comes to the trucks. Well, maybe it had something to do with screwing the bolts up faster, but in the end, Vladimir Chigin was victorious once more for the 4th time in a row. Behind him, teammate Kabirov, followed by the Dutchman, De Rooij. We'll be back with more after this break. As the rally went on, the battle continued between Sankt and Roma. Roma was just about 3 minutes ahead. Relentless out there, but the end in sight. Between these two, it was titanic. It was simple. Richard Sankt had the navigation skills, while Nani Roma was just that little bit stronger physically. They were both on 660cc single-cylinder KTMs, and the battle plan was quite simple. Go flat out and try to shake off the other rider. They were battling for seconds, and even Roma got caught in the sand. Struggling, fighting, needing to get going once more. Well, towards the end of the rally, Roma had made navigational errors as well as getting stuck in the sand. He felt the Dakar was slipping through his fingers once again. On stage 14, returning to Suzuka, he was even asking the marshals how long it had been since Sankt passed by. Has a think, gets underway again. Twice Roma thought that he'd paid dearly for navigational errors. He thought he'd lost the rally to Sankt, but twice he managed to keep the pressure on, and he managed to close the gap on the Frenchman. Fabrizio Mioni would take 6th place in the Dakar 2004. He had many problems on his enormous 950cc KTM. On the stage to Attar, his luck finally ran out when a tyre failure lost him any chance of victory. Norwegian Oliver Setup took 5th overall, a reward for consistency. Fine rider he is. Alfie Cox and Cyril Desprez fought it out for 3rd. It was very close, and Desprez was at one point 16 minutes behind Cox, but in the end, Desprez took the podium spot just 4 minutes ahead of the South African. Alfie's navigational skills perhaps not the best out there. Well, the runner-up from the previous Dakar was not really in the same form. Too many crashes, too many navigational problems cost Desprez the chance of the victory. It was to be a great debut for Frétinier. He won 3 stages on his Yamaha 2-wheel drive machine. He was the only one able to compete with the KTM Armada. He finished 7th overall. Up front, Nani Roma finally reached his goal and his dreams with 2-stage wins. He took his first Dakar victory after years of trying. Roma became the first Spaniard to win the bike category. There was warm congratulations from his rivals and teammates. 7 times out of 8 attempts, he'd had to pull out of the race. Finally, he'd reached Dakar, and he'd reached it on top. Nobody more pleased for him than the great man himself, Mioni. BMW had a good year as well. De Mevius lining up with Alfond for the X-Raid team. But then the Belgian hit a piece of camel grass and rolled several times. After putting the pieces back together, he reached Dakar in 8th place overall, a testament to the skills of repair. Jean-Louis Schlesser got 2 of his buggies to the finish. Jose Maria Serbia came in 19th overall, and Schlesser himself underlined his Dakar legend status with another top 3 finish. The big man on the podium again, terrific. Well, reaching Dakar was a great relief for 163 vehicles out of the 595 on the start line back in Clermont-Ferrand in France. 60 cars, 65 bikes and 38 trucks reached the shores on the western edge of Africa. What a relief. Time then for the finale. Thousands were out to see the last 27 kilometers towards the famous Lac Rose. David Fresnier was impressive on his first Dakar, but also lucky walking away after this enormous accident. Cyril Desprez jumped for joy with a stage win, finishing 3rd overall. It was a Spanish day though. Nani Roma taking the victory by just under 13 minutes after 9,506 kilometers. Sank's early crash in Morocco cost him dear, but he stayed in the chase for victory, even with 8 stitches in his forearm. A true Dakar warrior. And Cyril Desprez on the podium, and rightly a share of the champagne. Our winner says, I'm so happy for my team after so much work. It's a team victory, but also a big relief for me. I'm just so delighted, he said. The Russian Kamaz trucks dominated the competition, taking 1st and 2nd. Chagin winning for the 4th time in a row, a great achievement. Hansel stayed relaxed on the final stage of the rally, something McRae didn't do. McRae won the final stage in true rally style. Going for it. That was Colin. It was a triumph again for Mitsubishi and a triumph for Stefan Hansel. At 38, the Frenchman adds to his legend with his first win on 4 wheels after winning it 6 times on a bike. The first to win both categories since Hubert Auriol, race director himself. Matsuoka 2nd, Schlesser in 3rd. It had been a great battle with the cars. I'm so happy to win with somebody else beside me. We made this victory together. We pushed right to the limit to get it, and it's so brilliant to share this with somebody who's close to me.
On a poussé jusqu'à la fin pour l'avoir, et c'est une sensation hyper agréable de pouvoir partager cette victoire avec quelqu'un de très proche.